This is Marc Mason, the Comics Waiting Room, and I am here with author Charles Yu.
Hi.
We are here today talking about your new book, Sorry Please Thank You, which is a move in a different direction than your previous book. You've gone short stories this time around. Let's talk about that decision artistically first. Why a collection of short stories this time?
Because my novel isn't ready. No, just kidding. Because I had short stories, and I think I can do things in short stories that you can't really do in a novel. You can experiment more. I just kind of wanted to flex different, parts of my brain and try some things that I knew probably wouldn't work on a longer scale.
What sort of experiments did you try?
Writing with my left hand, writing. I think trying things formally. There's a story in there that's basically written in outline form. There's a story in there that is written as a kind of speech from a CEO to shareholders of a company. Things that, a conceit that wouldn't work on a book-length scale. But for whatever reason, I wanted to, ideas I wanted to try and see where they went. Was it freeing to try those types of things? Freeing, yeah. Freeing is a good word. It's like an itch, I know this idea won't last 50 pages, or even 30 maybe, but it's something that I want. I have to see where it goes.
What sort of challenges did you wind up discovering along the way?
That it is very hard to write a short story. I think I forgot that a short story in some ways is harder than a novel, because if it doesn't punch you in the gut by the end of it, it's probably not fully successful. Maybe that's just how I feel about it, but I think a short story has to be almost like a pop song, right? It's got to be a catchy hook, and if it's only 3 minutes long or 15 pages long, and there are parts that are boring, then that's sort of unforgivable. Whereas with a novel, not that you want boring parts of your novel, but it's understandable. It's probably inevitable.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, How to Live Safely in a Science Fictional Universe was a sci-fi novel.
Yeah.
Are all the short stories in Sorry Please Thank You sci-fi, or are you all over the place in genre?
I would say almost all of them are speculative in some way or another. Not necessarily sci-fi. There's a story in there that is, I guess, fantasy RPG. There's a couple of video game related stories, actually. And there are some that are, I guess I'd call them slipstream. They're not overtly science fictional, but they have a kind of heightened reality, or sort of altered reality feel to them. And there's one that's purely not speculative in any way.
Now, when you're writing a novel, it's sometimes easy for a reader to pick up on this is the character that Charles is speaking through, or maybe the author's mouthpiece. When you're doing a short story, is that less in play, or is there always a character who's your analog within the piece?
Less in play, yeah. I think on a short story, on a scale of 10 to 20 to 30 pages, it's possible to sustain something purely on voice, as a kind of, it's not as, I think it's not as necessary to maybe flesh out certain kinds of details that you need to in a novel, in order to sustain the storytelling.
You mentioned voice, and you have a very unique voice in How to Live Safely. I thought it was one of the most uniquely voiced novels I'd read in a long time. Going through the process of writing Sorry Please Thank You, did your voice change? Did it change in a way that you're going to use going forward as a writer?
My voice, that's a good question. I think my voice lowered a little bit. This is me trying to sing in different registers, some of which I realize maybe I don't want to sing in. Probably none of them would be things I would try to sing in. No, these aren't voices that I would try to sustain with a novel. I think I'm already working on the next novel. In voice is certainly something. It'd be more like an extension of How to Live Safely. I think that's what I know how to do, and I don't want to stay still. And I want it to develop and change, but I think it would grow from that direction in terms of novels rather than this. This was me just kind of experimenting and doing things that I think are not possible within a novel.
Now, you experimented with this stuff. This is the second time we've chatted at Comic-Con. Have you at all considered experimenting with turning your stuff into comics or graphic novels?
Yeah, actually I have. I've given some thought and done a little bit of work on an idea that would come out of Wider Universe 31, which was the setting for How to Live Safely, as a kind of jumping off point for telling stories that were related to that world. It's really, exploring would be too much to say right now, but it's more like looking in that direction.
You're not hurting for options.
I guess I don't have any options yet. I'm just kind of thinking about it creatively. It's not something that's taken any concrete form. I've written things, sort of like character ideas and world building ideas, and it's definitely something that's just interesting as a side project, and maybe I will I do have thoughts to pursue that at some point.
And you say you're working on the next novel. When can we expect to see that?
I think in the next that's a good question. I don't know when it'll be published. I expect it will be done within the next several months, so hopefully 2013 or 2014.
Excellent. Charles, it's good talking to you again. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Mark.